Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Scientist. Tonight, we drift far beyond the warm glow of our sun, past the quiet landscapes of the inner planets, and into the outer realm of our solar system, where the cold becomes gentle, and the darkness carries its own shimmering beauty. Out here, suspended in the deep quiet of space, floats a world so graceful, so impossibly elegant, that even the emptiness around it seems to soften in its presence. This is Saturn, a planet wrapped in rings of ice and light, moving with a calm, ancient rhythm that feels almost musical. Before we begin, take a moment to settle yourself into a place of softness. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Let your breath fall naturally into a slow, comfortable pattern. Let your shoulders relax. Let your hands rest. And allow the thoughts of your day to drift toward the background, dissolving gently, like stardust settling into space. There is nothing you need to hold on to right now. You can let each inhale bring cool calmness in, and each exhale release whatever weight you no longer need. Now imagine Saturn rising slowly in front of you, a pale golden globe encircled by rings that stretch wide into the dark, each one made of countless particles of ice that catch the faint sunlight like floating glass. The rings do not glow sharply. They shimmer in soft ribbons, curving around the planet in motions so smooth you could almost imagine running your hand gently along their edge. Saturn rotates with quiet speed, completing a full turn in just over 10 hours. Yet its presence feels steady and unhurried, as though it exists in a different kind of time. As you drift closer in your imagination, you notice that Saturn does not shine like a star. It glows softly, evenly wrapped in an atmosphere of muted golds, pale creams, and gentle shadows that move like slow waves. The planet is enormous, but its beauty comes not from its size, but from the quiet, balanced way it holds itself in space. Saturn feels like a meditation, like a breath that never rushes, like a dream drifting in slow motion beneath the starlight. Tonight, we will wander through the calm mysteries of this magnificent world, its serene rings, its distant moons, its soft colors, and the quiet science that explains how such beauty came to be. So let your mind drift with the rhythm of Saturn's slow glow. Let the calm of this distant world settle gently into your thoughts. This is the most relaxing facts about Saturn to fall asleep. Let's begin. Saturn is a world where beauty exists in layers, each one softer than the last. When sunlight reaches this distant planet, it arrives weakened by the vastness of space, creating a gentle, muted illumination that wraps the atmosphere in pale gold. Instead of bright blues or deep reds, Saturn wears a cloak of soft creams, subtle yellows, and faint shadows that move slowly across its surface like quiet tides. These colors shift in calm, horizontal bands because the winds, although fast, move in smooth, unbroken streams around the planet. Looking at Saturn from afar feels like watching a watercolor sky drift across a sphere, each shade blending effortlessly into the next, soothing in its simplicity and harmony. The rings of Saturn, perhaps the most iconic feature in our entire solar system, are not solid structures at all, but delicate fields of ice particles drifting in perfect balance. Each particle, from tiny grains of frost to pieces as large as boulders, orbits Saturn in its own path. Yet together they create the illusion of a single, continuous ribbon of shimmering light. Sunlight reflects off their icy surfaces in ways that make the rings glow softly rather than shine. The spaces between these particles are mostly empty, creating a structure that is more like a cosmic whisper than a physical object. To gaze upon the rings is to witness a kind of natural poetry, a frozen halo held in place by gravity and silence. Saturn's atmosphere is a world of quiet storms, moving not with violent chaos, but with layered, swirling grace. The winds here reach remarkable speeds, faster than almost anywhere in the solar system, yet their motion appears smooth and continuous when seen from distance. These winds create long, horizontal bands that move in harmony, parallel rivers of gas flowing around the planet without breaking their form. Even storms that rise from deep within Saturn's atmosphere take on a soft, rounded appearance, blending into the surrounding clouds like ink spreading in water. There is no sharpness, no jagged motion, only circular patterns and gradual transitions that give the planet an aura of endless calm. The rings cast delicate shadows across Saturn's surface, forming soft, curved lines that move slowly as the planet rotates. These shadows glide over the atmosphere like drifting brushstrokes, adding depth and dimension to the planet's pale glow. As Saturn tilts in its orbit, the angle of the rings changes, and the shadows stretch or contract gently over time. This slow shifting creates a dynamic yet peaceful dance of light and darkness, a visual rhythm that enhances the planet's serene presence. Watching these shadows pass is like observing time itself move in graceful arcs. Saturn experiences seasons just like Earth, but on a scale far more stretched and tranquil. Because Saturn takes nearly 30 Earth years to complete one orbit around the Sun, each of its seasons lasts over 7 Earth years. This means the changes in light, temperature, and shadow occur gradually, almost imperceptibly, giving the planet a sense of slow, cosmic breathing. These long seasons contribute to the planet's gentle appearance. Nothing on Saturn shifts quickly. Nothing appears rushed. Its rhythm is slow, ancient, and deeply calming, like the steady turning of a celestial clock built for meditation. Deep within Saturn's atmosphere lies a hidden world of soft, layered clouds pressed together under immense pressure. These layers form subtle structures that shift and stretch as gas flows through them, creating patterns that rise and fade without sharp edges. Scientists believe that beneath these upper clouds lie deeper layers of metallic hydrogen, a strange, fluid-like form of hydrogen that behaves almost like a liquid metal. Even this exotic interior moves in smooth, flowing motions, carrying heat upward in gentle waves. Everything about Saturn's interior seems to follow a slow, uninterrupted dance shaped by pressure, heat, and time. The rings themselves are incredibly thin, astonishingly so compared to their width. While they stretch hundreds of thousands of kilometers across, their vertical thickness may be only a few dozen meters in some places. This thinness makes the rings feel almost like a cosmic veil, a sheet of shimmering frost suspended around the planet. Their delicacy is part of what makes them so calming to observe. They do not overwhelm the senses, but instead offer a subtle, elegant beauty that conforms to Saturn's quiet personality. They are vast, yet fragile, expansive, yet airy, like a whisper frozen into form. Saturn's moons add to the planet's calming presence, each one moving in a smooth, predictable orbit. The largest moon, Titan, drifts around Saturn like a dim, orange lantern suspended in the night. Covered in thick atmosphere and soft haze, Titan reflects sunlight in gentle tones, mirroring Saturn's muted beauty. Other moons' icy, rounded worlds like Tethys, Dione, and Rhea glide through the ring system in slow, graceful arcs, casting faint shadows and creating delicate gravitational patterns in the rings. Their motion is unhurried, timeless, and perfectly balanced, contributing to the peaceful choreography of Saturn's realm. The faint glow that surrounds Saturn is partly created by sunlight, bouncing off the rings and scattering into the atmosphere. This scattering creates a halo of diffused light that wraps the planet in a soft, ethereal sheen. From afar, Saturn appears to radiate a gentle warmth, even though it is one of the coldest places in the solar system. This glow becomes most pronounced when the sunlight strikes the rings at low angles, creating a luminous, dreamy outline that enhances Saturn's already serene appearance. It feels as though the planet is carrying its own quiet illumination, a soft light that drifts outward into space. Saturn's rotation is fast, a full spin in just over 10 hours. Yet the planet manages to maintain an aura of calm stability. Despite spinning so quickly, Saturn does not appear chaotic or frantic. Instead, its rapid rotation causes the atmosphere to flatten gently at the poles and smooth the cloud bands into even cleaner lines. The speed brings order rather than turbulence, structure rather than chaos. This creates a world where motion and stillness coexist beautifully, a reminder that even things that move quickly can feel peaceful when their movements are balanced and harmonious. Far below the calm cloud tops, Saturn holds a secret that adds to its soft, mysterious beauty. The planet does not have a solid surface in the way Earth does. Instead, its gaseous layers grow gradually denser the deeper you go, transitioning slowly from gentle clouds into thick, warm gas, and then into strange, fluid-like, metallic hydrogen under immense pressure. Because this transition has no sharp boundary, moving downward into Saturn would feel like sinking through deeper and deeper layers of mist, each one thicker and heavier than the last. This seamless blending of states of matter adds to Saturn's dreamy, almost surreal nature, a world where nothing begins abruptly and nothing ends sharply, where everything fades gently into something else. The atmosphere of Saturn is filled with patterns so soft and slow that they resemble the movement of water in a vast, silent ocean. Some of these patterns form long, curling waves that wrap around the planet in graceful arcs. Others resemble faint ripples created when wind brushes across the surface of a calm lake. These atmospheric waves can stretch across thousands of kilometers, yet they move with such fluid ease that they appear delicate, almost fragile. Watching them drift across Saturn's soft bands feels like watching time stretch itself gently across the sky, creating motion without disturbance and change without noise. Saturn's hexagon, a massive, six-sided jet stream surrounding the North Pole, is one of the strangest and most mesmerizing features in the solar system. Despite its immense size, the hexagon does not behave like a violent storm. Its edges are sharp, but its internal movement is smooth and consistent, forming a slow, swirling pattern that rotates quietly around the pole. the shape stays stable for decades, maintaining its symmetry regardless of seasonal changes. It is a reminder that even in the cold, dark reaches of space, nature creates harmonious structures, patterns that hold steady through time, like a cosmic mandala spinning gently in the sky. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, orbits with a stillness that feels ancient and patient. Wrapped in a thick haze of golden atmosphere, Titan glows faintly like a lantern drifting in slow motion. If you could stand on its surface, the sunlight would filter through the haze with a softness unlike anything on Earth, turning the sky into a muted orange twilight, even in the middle of the day. Rivers and lakes of liquid methane lie quietly on its surface, their reflective surfaces smooth as glass. Titan's world feels like a dreamscape frozen in time, a place where everything moves slowly and every horizon is wrapped in quiet. Many of Saturn's smaller moons glide silently through the planet's rings, carving narrow paths as they orbit. Some are so tiny that they create delicate waves in the ring particles, tiny ripples that spread outward like soft vibrations in a pool of icy dust. These interactions are gentle, almost tender. The moons do not tear through the rings, but nudge them, shaping subtle patterns that flow harmoniously with Saturn's gravity. The result is a ballet of ice and motion, a choreography too slow for the human eye, but perfectly balanced over years and decades. Light behaves differently around Saturn because of the rings. Sunlight reflects off the icy particles and bounces into the surrounding space, creating halos of diffused brightness that change as the angle of the sun shifts. Sometimes the rings glow brightly. Other times they appear dim and ghost-like, nearly invisible. This soft shifting of light gives Saturn the feeling of a world wrapped in a veil, a planet that never looks exactly the same from one moment to the next, but always remains gentle, luminous, and serene. The rings become not just a physical structure, but a source of calming atmosphere, bathing the planet in soft illumination. The space around Saturn is quieter than almost anywhere else in the solar system, free from the strong solar radiation that dominates the inner planets. Out here, the emptiness becomes gentle rather than hostile. The faint hum of charged particles moves softly along Saturn's magnetic field, creating auroras at the poles that glow in delicate, ghost-like colors. These auroras do not dance quickly like the northern lights on Earth. Instead, they drift slowly, rising and fading with patient grace. They form silent curtains of light that ripple in the darkness, adding another layer of quiet beauty to Saturn's already serene atmosphere. Saturn's slow orbit around the Sun means that its perspective changes gradually, giving the planet long, lingering interactions with sunlight. Dawn on Saturn is not a sudden burst of brightness. It is a slow unfolding, a gentle spread of illumination that takes hours to fully emerge. The sunlight that reaches Saturn is soft, filtered by distance into a pale, faint glow that touches the cloud tops like a whisper. This kind of dawn feels ancient and peaceful, a moment when the planet seems to wake, not with urgency, but with a deep, cosmic calm. The rings, despite their vast size, are made almost entirely of ice, pure, cold crystals that reflect light with remarkable softness. These particles have been shaped by billions of years of collisions, smoothing themselves into rounded forms that create a natural calm in the way they scatter sunlight. The rings act like a cosmic diffuser, turning harsh light into something more gentle, more ambient, more soothing. The sight of them from space is almost hypnotic. Concentric arcs spreading outward in perfect alignment, each one glowing softly in the dim sunlight, each one holding its place with quiet confidence. Even the space between Saturn's rings has a calmness to it. These gaps are not empty, but filled with faint trails of dust and ice that drift in quiet harmony with the larger structures. The gaps are shaped by gravitational interactions that create stability rather than chaos, gentle relationships between moons, particles, and forces that settle into balance over time. This interplay results in a system that feels alive, breathing slowly, adjusting itself with delicate precision. It is a reminder that even in the vast cold of space, harmony can emerge naturally, shaped by the soft pull of gravity and the quiet passage of time. Far from the soft cloud tops, Saturn's gravity quietly shapes everything around it. The pull is strong, but not violent, guiding particles, ice, moons, and dust into organized paths that seem almost choreographed. Instead of pulling things in aggressively, Saturn's gravity persuades them into calm orbits, allowing each piece of the ring system to find a rhythm that matches its distance and speed. The result is a layered harmony, the inner rings moving quickly, the outer rings drifting more slowly, all of them balanced in a serene, geometric pattern. Observing this from afar feels like watching a cosmic music box turn, each component moving in a circle that contributes to the planet's quiet symphony. Deep in Saturn's atmosphere, ammonia crystals form delicate cloud layers that stack in gentle gradients, each one blending into the next. These crystals scatter sunlight into soft hues, faint golds, muted whites, pale grays, which merge to create the planet's iconic creamy appearance. Unlike Earth's clouds, which change rapidly and dramatically, Saturn's clouds evolve slowly, reshaping themselves in patterns that take days or weeks to fully unfold. Their motion is subtle enough that you might not notice the change while watching. But over time, the entire atmosphere drifts into new forms with a fluid, dreamlike quality. The sheer size of Saturn contributes to its sense of calm. It is the second largest planet in the solar system, yet it carries its massive scale with quiet elegance. The planet's thick atmosphere hides any abrupt surfaces or hard boundaries, creating the impression of a giant sphere made entirely of soft light and flowing gas. Its vastness doesn't feel overwhelming. Instead, it feels reassuring, like a giant resting in the cold depths of space, steady and unmoving. There's something deeply comforting about how Saturn fills its space, not with intensity, but with gentle presence. Some of Saturn's moons, like Enceladus, add their own quiet beauty to the system. Enceladus is a small, icy world whose surface reflects sunlight with almost perfect brightness, making it appear like a tiny glowing bead drifting through the rings. When heat from within escapes through cracks near its south pole, jets of icy vapor rise silently into space. These plumes are not violent eruptions, but soft, steady geysers that spray into the darkness like frozen fountains. Over time, these particles drift outward and slowly become part of Saturn's faint E-ring, meaning Enceladus continuously contributes to the ring system with quiet persistence. Saturn's magnetic field envelops the planet in a smooth, protective bubble, guiding charged particles along elegant curves that arc gracefully toward the poles. These invisible pathways create a calm flow of energy, shaping auroras that drift across the polar regions in soft curtains of blue and violet. The magnetic field acts like a silent music conductor, organizing the motion of particles into patterns that are stable, predictable, and deeply peaceful. Even the invisible aspects of Saturn's environment move in harmony, as though the planet teaches everything around it how to follow its patient rhythm. Beyond the rings, the space surrounding Saturn is filled with faint bands of dust and ice that stretch outward in delicate streams. These trails are remnants of moons, comets, and particles that have interacted with Saturn over billions of years. They drift in soft arcs, extending the planet's presence far beyond its visible edges. Though nearly invisible, these trails add a subtle aura to the planet, giving the impression that Saturn is surrounded not just by rings, but by a soft haze of history, the quiet remains of celestial interactions stitched into the fabric of space. Some parts of the rings form narrow, braided structures that weave together like strands of silk. These braids shift gradually over time as tiny moonlets pass through the ring plane, guiding particles with their gravity. The motion is slow and delicate, like a gentle hand brushing through sand and leaving patterns behind. These braided segments are a reminder that even tiny forces can create beauty when given time to work freely. They reveal that the rings are not static. They are alive with subtle movement, always reshaping themselves in response to small whispers of gravity. Saturn's shadow stretches far across the ring system, creating long, soft bands of darkness that curve around the planet like gentle ribbons. The shadow doesn't fall sharply. Instead, it fades gradually at the edges, blending into the sunlight in a way that softens the entire scene. As Saturn orbits the sun, the length and angle of this shadow change, creating a slow, cosmic sundial that marks the passing of its long seasons. Watching that shadow move is like observing the planet's heartbeat, a slow cycle that repeats only once every 30 Earth years, yet does so with quiet reliability. The rings themselves contain thousands of narrow gaps, not because pieces are missing, but because gravity guides particles into patterns where some regions naturally empty out. These gaps are carved by resonances, gentle gravitational rhythms created by Saturn's moons that cause particles to drift away from certain regions. The result is a structure that looks intentionally designed, as though the rings were crafted by a patient artist who understood the beauty of spacing as much as the beauty of form. These gaps create subtle contrasts that enhance the ring's elegance, giving them texture without disrupting their peaceful flow. Saturn holds a unique sort of silence. Unlike rocky planets with surfaces that vibrate or echo, Saturn has no solid ground for sound to travel through, turning the entire planet into a realm where traditional noise cannot exist. If you could float within its upper atmosphere, the only sound you might hear would be the soft rush of gas moving past a gentle, ghost-like whisper carried by winds. This silence gives Saturn a meditative quality, a feeling that the planet is listening rather than speaking, existing as a calm presence in the vast emptiness of space. The outer layers of Saturn's rings are so faint and delicate that they appear almost invisible when sunlight strikes them from certain angles. These wisps of ice drift so far from the planet that they seem suspended in their own quiet domain, separate from the brighter rings closer in. Their subtle presence creates a sense of depth, as though Saturn is surrounded not by a single system of rings, but by a series of increasingly gentle halos. These faint arcs give the planet an extended aura, a softness that stretches outward into space like a whisper dissolving into darkness. They remind us that beauty can exist in what is barely visible in the thin edges, the soft outlines, the quietest traces of motion. As you move closer to Saturn's equatorial region in your imagination, the cloud tops form smooth bands of color that shift almost imperceptibly from one shade to the next. These layers move with different speeds, creating gentle shearing motions that glide past one another without ever clashing. The effect is a kind of atmospheric, ballet-wide, horizontal rivers of gas flowing around the planet in synchronized silence. Even though the winds are among the fastest in the solar system, their motion appears calm when seen from afar. It is a reminder that speed does not always mean chaos. Sometimes, movement can be so well balanced that it becomes its own form of peace. The sunlight that reaches Saturn has traveled more than 1 billion kilometers, losing much of its intensity along the way. By the time it arrives, it is transformed into a soft, pale glow that touches everything with gentleness. Instead of bright, sharp illumination, Saturn receives a kind of cosmic twilight, a distant light that wraps around the planet like a delicate veil. This dim, diffused radiance enhances the serene quality of Saturn's clouds and rings, giving the entire planet a subdued shimmer that feels ancient and calming. In this light, shadows soften and colors deepen, creating scenes that feel timeless, as if each moment were suspended in a quiet, slow-moving dream. Some of the icy particles within the rings collide gently with each other as they orbit, bouncing and separating with motions so delicate they resemble drifting snowflakes, touching for a moment before floating apart again. These interactions are not violent. The particles glide and nudge one another in silence, guided by the tender pull of gravity. Over time, these tiny collisions smooth the particles' surfaces, rounding them into softer forms that reflect light more evenly. The rings become a vast, orbiting field of frost-polished fragments, each one shaped by billions of years of gentle contact. From certain angles, Saturn's rings appear not as separate bands, but as a single, continuous sheet of luminous haze. The ice particles blend their reflected light into one soft glow, creating a smooth, radiant plane that arcs around the planet's body. This illusion of unity adds to the planet's sense of serenity, making the rings look less like physical structures and more like a natural extension of Saturn itself. The sight carries an emotional weight, a feeling of harmony that extends outward, as if the planet is surrounded by a quiet, glowing embrace. The poles of Saturn hold mysteries that add to its calming presence. At the North Pole lies the hexagon, a perfect geometric pattern etched into the atmosphere, a shape so precise and stable that it seems crafted by intention rather than natural forces. Yet it is formed entirely by fluid dynamics, the motion of gases swirling around the pole in a hexagonal current. The shape rotates slowly, surrounded by layers of clouds that drift in smooth circular paths. The hexagon feels like a symbol of balance, an ancient sigil carved by nature into a world governed by rhythm and silence. Saturn's southern pole carries its own beauty, a massive, swirling vortex with layers curling inward like the arms of a gentle spiral. Though it is technically a storm, it lacks the aggressive chaos we associate with storms on Earth. Instead, it turns with slow, hypnotic persistence, surrounded by color bands that fade softly from gold to cream to shadow. Watching this vortex from above feels like watching the calm rotation of a galaxy, mysterious yet peaceful, powerful yet subdued. It is a reminder that motion in the universe often comes with quiet intention rather than noise. The moons of Saturn interact with the rings in ways that create subtle waves and boundaries, like shepherds guiding flocks of particles along stable paths. Moons, such as Prometheus and Pandora, move along the edges of the faint F ring, shaping it with their gravity into narrow threads and gentle curves. These interactions are slow and rhythmic, the moons passing by regularly like caretakers, maintaining the ring's delicate structure. Their influence prevents the particles from drifting too far, preserving the ring's slender shape through constant, soft adjustments. It is a relationship of balance, each moon playing a quiet role in maintaining Saturn's ancient harmony. The emptiness around Saturn enhances its beauty. Space in this region is remarkably clean and uncluttered, giving the planet an unobstructed stage on which its rings can stretch and shine. With so few objects nearby, Saturn appears more isolated, more serene, as though floating in a cosmic lagoon untouched by disturbance. This solitude gives the planet an aura of calm sovereignty, a presence that feels both powerful and peaceful. In the vast darkness, Saturn stands out not as a lonely world, but as a resting one, quiet, composed, and undisturbed. Seen from above, the rings form a perfect circle, a symbol of completeness so striking that it feels almost spiritual. The symmetry is not perfect in a mechanical sense, but in a cosmic one, balanced, natural, and enduring. That circular form has remained stable for millions of years, turning slowly around the planet in a motion that never rushes, never falters. It is a reminder that not all perfection comes from precision. Some of it comes from time, patience, and the gentle persistence of natural forces working in harmony. The vast emptiness that surrounds Saturn acts like a frame that enhances its quiet beauty. Because this region of space is so distant from the sun, each point of light seems softer, each shadow more diffuse, each movement more patient. Saturn floats within this darkness like a lantern in a deep cosmic night, illuminating its surroundings not with brightness, but with serenity. The calm space around the planet gives every feature room to breathe. The rings stretch outward without interruption. The moons drift gracefully in wide arcs, and the planet itself glows with a muted elegance. This solitude creates a peaceful environment where every motion feels meaningful and every detail unfolds with gentle clarity. Even the smallest particles in Saturn's rings participate in a kind of quiet organization. These particles, ranging from grains of frost to chunks of ice, are constantly influenced by the faint gravitational pull of nearby moons. Instead of causing chaos, these interactions help settle the particles into stable patterns, gently moving them into regions where they can orbit peacefully for centuries. This gradual sorting is a reminder that harmony in space often emerges from countless tiny interactions, each one subtle and unhurried, each one nudging the system toward balance over time. It is a cosmic form of tidying soft, patient, and deliberate. The color of Saturn's rings changes depending on the angle of sunlight and the size of the ice particles reflecting it. Sometimes the rings appear bright white, shimmering like frost in early morning light. At other times, they take on a soft cream or pale gold tone, blending beautifully with the planet's atmosphere. These color shifts are not dramatic. They happen slowly, subtly, like the way light changes in a room as afternoon becomes evening. This gentle variation gives the rings a living quality, as though they are breathing with the movement of the sun, always the same, and yet never exactly identical from one moment to the next. Because Saturn is so cold, the ice in its rings behaves with an unusual softness. Sunlight has little power out here, so the ice never melts, never flashes with heat. It simply reflects a cool, quiet glow. The cold stabilizes the ring particles, reducing vibrations and making collisions even gentler. This temperature-induced calmness contributes to the ring's peaceful appearance. There is no turbulence created by heat, no rapid expansion or contraction, only soft motions shaped by gravity and time. The cold of Saturn's realm is not harsh, it is tranquil, the kind of cold that slows everything into a serene, measured rhythm. Titan's orbit and the glow of Saturn's rings create moments of breathtaking beauty when the two align. Sometimes, Titan's shadow drifts across the rings in a slow, dark sweep that resembles an eclipse made of soft charcoal. Other times, the ring light reflects onto Titan's hazy atmosphere, tinting its golden surface with streaks of pale silver. These quiet interactions between moon and ring create scenes that feel almost mythical, as though you are witnessing the silent communication of ancient worlds. Each alignment is slow, elegant, and deeply calming, reinforcing the sense that Saturn's system moves with a rhythm older than memory. The outermost ring of Saturn, called the E-ring, is so faint and diffuse that it almost disappears into space when viewed from afar. Yet this ring plays a vital role in creating the planet's serene aesthetic. It forms a delicate glow around the planet, a thin mist of ice particles that catches sunlight in soft, ghost-like ways. This faint halo gives Saturn a sense of depth, a feeling that it is surrounded by layers of light and texture that extend far beyond its visible edges. The E-ring behaves like a quiet echo of the brighter rings, subtle, gentle, always present, even when nearly invisible. Saturn's gravity carefully guides the orbits of more than 80 known moons, each one following its path with remarkable precision. These moons never collide, never wander aimlessly. They move in long, graceful arcs that have been stable for millions of years. Their synchronized motion contributes to the overall sense of calm in the Saturnian system. When seen from afar, the moons appear as tiny points of light drifting around the planet in slow, predictable cycles, a celestial dance where every participant knows its place, its path, and its rhythm. The way Saturn rotates gives the planet a slightly flattened shape, wider at the equator and narrower at the poles. This shape, called an oblate spheroid, forms because the planet spins so quickly. Yet even this rapid rotation does not disturb the calm of the atmosphere. Instead, it helps smooth the cloud bands into long, flowing structures that encircle the planet. The flattening effect subtly enhances the visual elegance of Saturn, emphasizing the symmetry and grace of its rings. It is as if the planet's form was sculpted by movement itself, shaped by a dance so fluid that every curve appears intentional. In rare moments, when sunlight aligns perfectly behind Saturn, the planet becomes silhouetted against a radiant glow created by the rings. In this backlit view, the rings light up with extraordinary clarity, revealing delicate structures, overlapping arcs, and faint layers that are usually hidden. Saturn itself appears as a dark, quiet sphere, floating in a halo of ice-lit brilliance. This is one of the most peaceful sights in the solar system, a world outlined by the soft shimmer of its own rings, drifting quietly through the vastness of space. The contrast of shadow and light creates a sense of timeless beauty that lingers long after the image fades. Saturn's entire system, the planet, the rings, the moons, the shadows, the light works together to create a place where motion becomes calm and structure becomes poetry. There are no harsh edges, no sudden eruptions, no loud displays of energy. Everything unfolds in smooth arcs and layered patterns. The more you observe Saturn, the more you feel its stillness, a quiet presence that settles gently into the mind. It is a reminder that even in the farthest, coldest reaches of space, beauty can emerge in forms so soft and harmonious that they bring peace simply by existing. The light that filters through Saturn's rings creates one of the most peaceful atmospheres in the solar system. When sunlight passes through the gaps between ring particles, it scatters in soft rays that drift across the planet's upper clouds, like pale beams through a curtain of frost. These rays stretch and fade with delicate gradients, creating patterns that resemble the quiet glow of dawn, slowly awakening a snowy field. The effect is subtle, almost imperceptible in real time, yet profoundly calming when observed in motion, as though Saturn is wrapped in layers of soft illumination that gently breathe with the rhythm of its orbit. At times, Saturn's rings cast wide, sweeping shadows across the cloud tops, forming graceful arcs of darkness that curve around the planet's golden atmosphere. These shadows are not harsh or heavy. They fall softly, blending at the edges into the pale light around them. The slow rotation of Saturn makes these shadows glide across its surface at a pace so gentle that you could watch them shift for hours without noticing the moment they changed. It creates a visual poetry where light and dark flow together, turning the planet into a canvas painted by the quiet passage of time. The sheer scale of Saturn's ring system contributes to its peaceful presence. Spanning hundreds of thousands of kilometers, the rings appear vast yet impossibly thin, giving them an ethereal, almost fragile quality. When you imagine standing near them, hovering in the calm vacuum of space, the rings would stretch overhead like an endless archway of glass dust suspended in silent equilibrium. Their immensity does not overwhelm the senses, but instead evokes a deep stillness, a reminder of how gentle the universe can be when allowed to move at its own ancient rhythm. Saturn's atmosphere contains layers of haze that soften every detail of its features. These hazes scatter light in subtle ways, making the planet's colors appear smooth and muted, as though viewed through warm, translucent silk. Without sharp boundaries or sudden contrasts, the entire world feels like a slow-moving painting, each layer blending into the next. This natural diffusion calms the mind, encouraging thoughts to drift the same way the atmospheric bands glide around the globe, quietly, continuously, without interruption or urgency. The deeper layers of Saturn's atmosphere hold warmth left over from the planet's formation, and this heat rises in slow, steady currents that shape the cloud patterns above. These rising currents move with such gradual force that they create gentle swirls and soft gradients in the clouds, forming patterns that resemble the shifting of mist over a calm sea. Unlike turbulent storms on Earth, Saturn's internal warmth creates smooth transitions and rounded shapes, transforming the planet into a world where even the deepest energy expresses itself softly. Some of Saturn's moons orbit within the plane of the rings, their paths so perfectly aligned that they appear to glide through layers of luminous frost. These moons move with such quiet precision that they carve delicate channels and waves into the rings, leaving behind soft patterns that ripple outward like the wake of a boat drifting across still water. The interaction between moon and ring is gentle, almost affectionate, a gravitational embrace that shapes without disturbing, creating balance without force. It is one of the most peaceful relationships in the solar system. The tilt of Saturn's axis allows the rings to present themselves at different angles as the planet completes its long orbit around the Sun. During certain years, the rings open wide, revealing their full, sweeping expanse. During others, they narrow until they appear almost as a thin line of light. This slow shifting, taking decades to complete a full cycle, gives the planet a graceful variety, a quiet dance between openness and concealment. Watching the rings change over time feels like observing a living structure, gently turning to show different sides of its beauty. Saturn's moons cast long shadows across the rings as they pass between the Sun and the icy plain. These shadows stretch into thin, elegant lines that drift across the ring system with extraordinary delicacy. Because the rings are so thin, the shadows appear crisp yet soft at the edges, forming patterns that shift with the moon's calm motion. From above, these wandering shadows resemble ink lines, slowly gliding across a sheet of luminous parchment, a sight that captures the imagination and settles the mind into a state of quiet wonder. The atmosphere of Saturn produces subtle, shifting bands that wrap around the planet with a sense of unbroken continuity. These bands are formed by winds that flow in opposite directions at different latitudes, yet they blend into one another without abrupt separation. The smoothness of these transitions makes the planet appear as though it is formed from layers of soft silk, each one draped gently around the sphere. Observing this endless flow is deeply relaxing, an invitation for your thoughts to follow the same path, drifting in long, uninterrupted lines. Even the storms on Saturn carry a unique softness. Though they are immense, far larger than any on Earth, they form rounded shapes and circular swirls rather than jagged clouds. The lightning within them is muted by distance and filtered by layers of haze, giving the rare flashes a gentle glow instead of a sharp burst. Saturn manages to hold even its storms in a calm embrace, smoothing their edges and blending their motions into the planet's deep atmosphere. It is a world where even turbulence becomes tranquil, where every force eventually learns to move with grace. Far within Saturn's shadows, light behaves in ways that feel almost enchanted. When the sun dips behind the rings, the icy particles scatter the remaining light into a soft, silvery glow that spreads across the planet's night side like a faint, luminous mist. This glow is gentle enough to feel like moonlight, yet vast enough to blanket half a world. It is the kind of illumination that softens every outline, blurs every edge, and turns Saturn's atmosphere into a calm gradient between darkness and light. In this glow, the planet seems to breathe slowly, rhythmically, as though the rings themselves are whispering light down into the quiet skies. Some of Saturn's smaller moons travel through regions of space filled with the thin debris of the ring system, and their surfaces gather these tiny particles over millions of years. The result is a coating of frost-like material that reflects light with unusual softness, giving these moons a muted shine, as if they were carved from powdered snow. They orbit Saturn with a gentle steadiness, their pale surfaces glowing softly against the blackness. Their presence adds a tender kind of beauty to the planet's surroundings, tiny, delicate companions drifting calmly around an enormous, serene world. The structure of Saturn's rings includes countless narrow lines called ringlets, each one formed from particles that orbit together in clusters. These ringlets are separated by thin gaps that look like the delicate grooves of a carefully crafted record. As sunlight moves across them, each ringlet catches light differently, creating a shimmering texture that shifts with the angle of view. The rings resemble ripples across still water, frozen in position, yet filled with subtle motion. This intricate layering adds depth to Saturn's appearance, giving the impression that the planet is wrapped in an impossibly detailed crown of light. There are moments when Saturn's rings appear to vanish almost entirely. When Earth crosses the plane of the rings, we see them edge on a perspective so thin that the rings reduce to a single, barely visible line. In this orientation, the planet looks naked, smooth, and quiet, as though it is resting beneath the surface of its own gentle shadow. This disappearance is not abrupt. It unfolds slowly as the weeks pass, giving the rings a mysterious rhythm of appearing and hiding. The peaceful transition emphasizes how delicate the ring system truly is, a structure that can shift from vast brilliance to near invisibility simply by adjusting its angle. The upper atmosphere of Saturn contains storms that drift across the planet in shapes that resemble soft spirals of cream swirling in a cup of warm milk. These storms form and dissolve gradually, their edges blending smoothly into the surrounding clouds. There is no harsh boundary between storm and atmosphere, just gradual shading, gentle curvature, and a kind of cosmic patience that lets each structure rise and fade at its own quiet pace. Observing these spirals is like watching nature paint in slow motion with the softest brush imaginable. Saturn's distance from the Sun means that it experiences incredibly long twilights. After the sun dips below the horizon, the dim light scattered by the rings continues to glow across the sky for an extended period, creating evenings that feel eternal. These twilight hours are filled with a soft radiance that lingers across the cloud tops, gradually dimming into deep blues and muted golds. This slow fading creates a sense of peace that settles not just on the planet, but in the mind of anyone imagining it, a reminder that endings can be gentle, gradual, and full of quiet beauty. Because Saturn has such low density compared to other planets, it is composed mostly of hydrogen and helium. It floats metaphorically in the imagination, like a world carved from sky. Its low density gives it a buoyant quality, as though the planet is not weighed down by its size. This delicate composition contributes to its ethereal appearance. Saturn is a giant, yet it seems light. It is massive, yet it looks soft. It is ancient, yet it feels timeless. Its very nature invites a sense of ease, as if the planet exists in a perpetual state of calm suspension. One of the ring system's most calming effects is the way it interacts with starlight. As Saturn moves across the sky, distant stars occasionally pass behind the rings, and their light flickers softly through the gaps and clusters of ice particles. This flickering is not sharp, but muted, like candlelight passing behind frosted glass. To observers, it creates the impression that the rings are shimmering gently in response to the stars, a quiet dialogue between distant points of light and the icy waves of Saturn's halo. This soft interplay deepens the sense of wonder and serenity that surrounds the planet. There are regions within the rings where the particles are so densely packed that they behave almost like fluid. Waves travel through these densely packed areas, forming gentle crests and troughs that ripple through the icy arcs as though stirred by an invisible breeze. These waves move so slowly that they appear frozen in time, shifting only slightly from month to month. Their presence transforms the rings from rigid structures into living, breathing entities, layers of delicate ice responding to the steady rhythm of gravity. This fluid-like behavior gives the rings a softness that feels almost organic. Even Saturn's faintest ring, the G-ring, contributes to the overall sense of quiet balance. It is a nearly transparent arc made of particles so small that they scatter light like a fine mist. On certain angles, the G-ring becomes visible as a thin, delicate glow that appears to hover just outside the brighter, more defined rings. Its presence adds a final whisper of beauty to the planet, a reminder that even the smallest, most subtle elements can create harmony when woven into the grand design of a world as serene as Saturn. Saturn's rings can create halos of light that wrap around the planet during certain alignments, forming a soft, circular glow that appears suspended in the darkness like a luminous crown. This halo isn't bright or intense. Instead, it shines with a faint, milky radiance that blurs smoothly into space. The light, scattered by countless icy particles, creates an atmosphere of quiet wonder, a gentle aura that makes Saturn seem less like a celestial body and more like a lantern drifting silently across the universe. Standing at the edge of imagination, you can almost feel that glow warming the emptiness around it. As the seasons change on Saturn, the angle of sunlight alters the appearance of the rings, revealing hidden structures in soft, subtle ways. When the sun strikes the rings at shallow angles, long, thin shadows spill across the planet's surface, creating curved lines that resemble the gentle brushstrokes of an artist painting with dusk. When the sun rises higher, these shadows fade into pale streaks, then disappear entirely, only to return months or years later in new shapes. This slow, predictable rhythm gives the entire Saturnian system a sense of deep, steady heartbeat, a cycle of light and shadow unfolding with ancient patience. The faint wisps of atmosphere that stretch above Saturn's cloud tops bend sunlight as it passes through them, creating a thin rim of golden light around the planet's edge during sunrise and sunset. This rim is delicate, almost imperceptible, but it gives Saturn a gentle halo that appears and disappears with the planet's rotation. The effect is similar to watching the edge of a candle flame shimmer in a quiet room. Soft, reassuring, and beautifully simple. It transforms the boundary between night and day on Saturn into a place of calm transitions, where darkness and light meet with tenderness rather than contrast. Some of Saturn's moons, such as Mimas and Tethys, orbit so close to the rings that their gravitational influence creates gentle ripples in the icy plane. These ripples are not violent disturbances, but subtle waves that travel outward in long, graceful arcs. They reveal themselves only through careful observation, gliding through the rings like soft vibrations that echo across a frozen surface. These gentle waves remind us that even distant worlds interact with one another through calm, silent forces, a cosmic choreography governed by gravity's quiet hand. The immense distance between Saturn and the Sun creates a light quality unlike anywhere closer to the star. On Saturn, sunlight feels like a distant memory of brightness, a soft, diluted glow that spreads evenly across the atmosphere. There are no harsh beams or glaring highlights, only a smooth distribution of light that settles across the clouds like powdered gold. This gentle illumination enhances the planet's soothing presence, making its vast atmosphere appear even more tranquil as it drifts in slow bands around the planet's enormous frame. Saturn's shadow stretches across its rings in a long, curved shape that changes slightly each day as the planet rotates. This shadow travels across the icy arcs with such slow precision that it seems almost frozen, even as it moves. Observing this shadow is like watching the passage of time on a scale so large that it becomes peaceful rather than overwhelming. The shadow's gradual shift creates a sense of cosmic continuity, an assurance that the universe unfolds not in sudden leaps, but in soft, steady transitions. Occasionally, meteorites pass near Saturn and break apart into small fragments that drift toward the rings. When this happens, the fragments disperse gently into the icy plane, adding new particles that gradually blend into the existing structure. Instead of creating chaos or disturbance, these events integrate seamlessly into the rhythm of the rings, becoming part of the planet's ancient cycle. This quiet absorption shows how Saturn maintains its harmony by allowing changes to enter softly, merging them into the gentle patterns that already exist. One of Saturn's most calming features is the way its rings create a sense of symmetry around the planet. Their broad, circular layout wraps around Saturn with remarkable balance, dividing space into gentle geometric proportions. This symmetry, combined with the planet's muted colors, creates a natural sense of order that feels deeply soothing. When viewed from afar, Saturn appears perfectly composed, a world where every element fits peacefully into place, where the architecture of ice and gas works together to create a celestial expression of balance. The glow of Saturn's night side, faintly illuminated by the reflected light of the rings, creates a soft, dreamlike atmosphere that envelops the planet in gentle tones of gray and gold. This glow is subtle but steady, giving the dark hemisphere a presence even when the sun is hidden. It is similar to moonlight on Earth, but broader, more diffused, and quieter. This ring light softens the transition between day and night, filling the darkness with a whisper of warmth that feels soothing, ancient, and timeless. Deep within Saturn's atmosphere, hidden currents and pressures shape the cloud layers into vast, sweeping structures that move in coordinated silence. These structures stretch across thousands of kilometers, yet they shift with such calmness that their movement resembles the slow drift of underwater currents rather than atmospheric storms. The deeper you imagine going into Saturn's layers, the quieter everything becomes. The winds soften, the colors fade into muted tones, and the world transforms into a vast ocean of slow-moving gas, where every motion is smooth, continuous, and profoundly peaceful. There are moments when the rings of Saturn become so brightly illuminated by the sun that they cast a faint, shimmering reflection back into space, creating a delicate glow that surrounds the planet like a soft halo of frosted starlight. This reflected glow is not intense or sharp. Instead, it feels like the quiet memory of light, drifting gently around the edges of Saturn's atmosphere. In this subtle radiance, the rings seem to breathe, brightening and dimming in a rhythm shaped by distance, angle, and time. It is a gentle pulse, a slow heartbeat visible from millions of kilometers away, giving Saturn a presence that is both serene and alive. Some regions of Saturn's rings contain particles so fine that they behave like drifting smoke rather than solid ice. When disturbed by passing moons or gravitational ripples, these fine particles rise slightly above the ring plane, forming faint, ghost-like wisps that hover briefly before settling back into place. These wisps catch sunlight in delicate ways, producing tiny glimmers and soft trails of brightness that vanish almost as soon as they appear. Their fleeting nature adds an ephemeral quality to the ring's beauty that is not made to last, but to drift in gentle silence. The moons that orbit closer to Saturn move quickly across the face of the planet when viewed from its cloud tops. Their shadows slide across the atmosphere like soft ink strokes gliding over smooth parchment, moving with a calm, steady pace that feels hypnotic. These shadow transits can last for hours, creating slow-moving lines of darkness that stretch across Saturn's golden bands. The combination of bright atmospheric layers and these gentle shadows creates a visual balance that feels peaceful, as though the moons and planet are participating in a quiet, cosmic ritual. Saturn's storms, though vast, often form subtle oval shapes that become part of the planet's soft aesthetic. Unlike the jagged outlines of storms on Earth, Saturn's atmospheric features appear rounded, smoothed by the immense pressure and fluid dynamics of the gas giant. These ovals drift across the cloud tops with a patience that spans weeks or even months, maintaining their form with surprising stability. They resemble softly swirling eddies in a gigantic celestial ocean, never rushing, never breaking, always moving with the calm endurance of a world shaped by deep, slow forces. The outer atmosphere of Saturn is composed partly of hydrogen that behaves almost like a liquid under the right conditions. As it moves, it folds and blends with helium and trace gases, creating textures that resemble flowing silk. These silky layers wrap around the planet in smooth, endless patterns that curve gently toward the poles. The impression is one of softness, as though Saturn is cloaked in a fabric woven from light and motion. Watching these layers drift is like watching the sky itself breathe, with each movement revealing the planet's immense inner calm. One of the most peaceful aspects of Saturn is its soundlessness. Because the surrounding space is a vacuum, and because the planet has no solid surface to reverberate noise, even the most powerful atmospheric movements occur in near silence. A storm the size of Earth could churn for months without producing a single audible sound. This silence gives Saturn a meditative quality, a sense that the entire world is engaged in deep, contemplative stillness. It is a planet where everything moves, yet nothing disturbs the quiet, a realm of pure, uninterrupted calm. The edges of Saturn's rings are not rigid or fixed. They waver gently over time, shifting in response to subtle gravitational nudges. These variations cause the ring boundaries to ripple, like the edges of a delicate veil drifting in a breeze. The ripples move slowly, creating patterns that reveal themselves only with patient observation. This natural flexibility adds to the ring's ethereal presence, reminding us that even large structures in the solar system can behave with softness and grace when governed not by force, but by balance. Saturn's atmosphere contains towering cloud structures that rise high above the surrounding layers, like softly sculpted columns. These towers form where warm currents push upward from deeper within the planet, lifting gas into tall, rounded shapes that drift slowly with the winds. Despite their immense size, these structures appear gentle, their edges smooth, their movement steady, their colors blending seamlessly into the environment. They give Saturn's upper atmosphere a layered beauty, a quiet architecture of clouds that seems designed not for drama, but for tranquility. Beyond the visible rings lies a vast region of faint, diffuse dust, known as the Phoebe Ring, an enormous arc so wide that it envelops other moons. Though nearly invisible to the human eye, this ring forms a soft, dark halo around Saturn, adding another layer to its atmospheric softness. The dust particles here drift at great distances, scattering sunlight in ways that create gentle gradients of darkness rather than brightness. This subtle halo adds depth to Saturn's appearance, creating a kind of cosmic horizon where light fades into shadow with extraordinary smoothness. The entire Saturnian system, with its rings, moons, and drifting shadows, moves with a harmony that feels almost musical. Every object follows a path shaped by gravity's gentle pull. Every particle rotates in a pattern that has remained stable for millions of years. And every change unfolds in slow, predictable rhythms. To observe Saturn is to witness the universe at its most peaceful, a place where motion does not disrupt, where time does not rush, and where beauty emerges from the perfect balance of silence, symmetry, and light. As Saturn drifts through its long orbit around the Sun, the changing angle of light gradually alters the mood of the planet, creating shifts so subtle they feel more like the passing of emotions than the passing of seasons. Over years, the rings brighten and dim, the cloud tops soften and deepen in color, and the entire world seems to breathe in slow, cosmic time. This gentle pacing creates a sense of ancient patience within the planet, as though Saturn understands the value of moving gradually, of letting transitions unfold with grace rather than urgency. If you were to float above Saturn's rings and look down at the planet below, you would see enormous bands of clouds arranged in wide, sweeping arcs that curve gently around the world. These arcs are shaped by the rotation of the planet and the movement of winds that never rest, yet their motion is so calm and steady that they appear frozen in place. The sight is like gazing upon a vast, softly painted mural, one that changes over weeks and months rather than minutes. This slow evolution encourages the mind to surrender its need for speed and instead fall into harmony with the planet's eternal tempo. Saturn's magnetic field carves invisible pathways around the planet, guiding charged particles along arcs that drift gracefully toward the poles. When these particles collide with atmospheric gases, they generate breathtaking auroras that glow softly in shades of blue, violet, and ultraviolet. Unlike Earth's auroras, which flicker and dance rapidly, Saturn's often appear as wide, smooth rings of light that expand and contract with calm consistency. These auroras feel less like storms of energy and more like gentle whispers of illumination, cosmic curtains glowing softly at the edges of a sleeping world. The deeper layers of Saturn's interior generate heat that rises through the atmosphere in slow, powerful waves. These waves shape the planet's clouds and influence its winds, but their upward journey is so gradual that the effects appear as gentle pulses rather than dramatic surges. This internal warmth contributes to Saturn's serene appearance, adding subtle buoyancy to the atmosphere and giving the planet an almost floating quality. It is as though Saturn is warmed not by sunlight, but by a quiet inner fire, a soft glow from within that radiates outward with timeless calm. Saturn's moons move in delicate resonance patterns, forming a gravitational harmony where their orbits reinforce and stabilize one another. This resonance prevents collisions, maintains distances, and preserves the architecture of the ring system. Each moon plays a subtle role, shaping pathways and creating small gaps that allow the rings to remain orderly. This harmony is a kind of unspoken agreement among celestial bodies, a shared rhythm that has held steady for ages. It embodies the idea that stability can emerge naturally when each part of a system moves in peaceful coordination. From certain angles, the rings cast delicate lines of reflected light onto Saturn's cloud tops, creating faint, shimmering patterns that appear momentarily before fading back into the atmosphere. These soft reflections resemble ripples of light dancing across a quiet pond. They are reminders of the planet's interconnectedness, how the rings, the clouds, and the sunlight work together to form scenes of gentle beauty that unfold without noise, without warning, and without repetition. Each moment is unique, yet every one of them carries the same quiet serenity. Even Saturn's gravitational pull on its moons induces slight tidal stretches within their surfaces. But these distortions occur so slowly that they resemble the gentle rising and falling of breath. Over long periods, these tidal interactions warm the moon's interiors and create conditions for liquid oceans beneath icy crusts. This hidden warmth adds another layer to Saturn's calming nature, the idea that beneath cold surfaces, beneath silence and isolation, there can exist pockets of warmth and subtle movement. These unseen oceans drift quietly in the dark, reflecting the planet's own internal steadiness. In the vast silence surrounding Saturn, the rings act as one of the most delicate clocks in the cosmos. The inner particles complete an orbit in mere hours, while the outermost particles may take days. This variation produces patterns that repeat in slow cycles, like the layered ticking of an enormous, silent timepiece. These rhythms play out not in seconds or minutes, but in days, months, and years, creating a sense of time that stretches beyond human perception. Witnessing this slow clockwork draws the mind into a deeper stillness, a calm shaped by the awareness of a much larger scale. Some of Saturn's faintest ring structures are constantly renewed by tiny collisions and moon-driven dynamics, creating a balance between erosion and replenishment that keeps the rings alive. Though the individual particles are constantly changing, the overall structure remains stable, as if the rings are self-renewing an eternal dance of departure and return. This ongoing renewal gives the planet a sense of continuous serenity, a reminder that even systems in motion can maintain perfect harmony when change unfolds slowly and gently. The full view of Saturn, the pale golden sphere, the sweeping rings, the drifting moons, the soft shadows, the silent storms, creates an image of peace unlike anything else in the solar system. It is a world defined not by violence or chaos, but by balance and grace. A world where motions align with ancient rhythms, where light scatters gently across frozen dust, where silence reigns over storms, and where beauty emerges from the quiet interplay of gravity and time. To gaze upon Saturn is to feel a settling in the soul, a reminder that the universe, vast and powerful as it is, also holds places of profound and everlasting calm. As our journey around Saturn draws to a close, let yourself linger for a moment in the quiet glow of everything you've imagined tonight. You've drifted past rings woven from ancient ice, past storms that move like slow breaths, past moons that glide in gentle harmony, and past shadows that stretch across the planet with the calm rhythm of passing centuries. Saturn does not rush, and for a little while, neither did you. You allowed yourself to move at the planet's pace, soft, patient, unhurried, and in doing so, your mind has settled into a quieter place, a place shaped by the gentle ways the universe reveals its beauty. As you picture Saturn one last time, imagine it suspended in the deep quiet of space, a pale golden world wrapped in circular waves of shimmering frost, drifting through darkness with effortless grace. Nothing pulls at it harshly. Nothing disturbs its balance. Light touches the rings in soft glints. Shadows slide slowly across its surface. and the moons continue their ancient dance, each one following a path shaped by deep cosmic trust. It is a reminder that even in the vastness of the universe, there are places where everything moves gently, where every force is softened, and where time stretches long enough for peace to take shape. Let that image sink into your breath. Let it ease the remaining tension in your body. The calm you felt while wandering through Saturn's rings can stay with you even now, long after the journey has ended. You can carry that stillness with you, letting it settle into your thoughts the same way light settles across Saturn's clouds, gradually, warmly, quietly. Every inhale invites softness in. Every exhale allows the last remnants of noise to drift away. Thank you for joining the Sleepy Scientist tonight, and for letting your imagination drift into the serene heart of one of the universe's most beautiful worlds. If this journey brought you peace, comfort, or even a moment of stillness, you're always welcome to return for more calm explorations through space and science. And if you'd like to join future travels into the quiet corners of the cosmos, feel free to subscribe. Your presence here keeps this gentle journey alive. Until next time, may your dreams be unhurried, your thoughts soft, and your sleep as quiet and peaceful as Saturn, drifting in its endless night. Good night.